All right, Celtics beat the Bucks tonight. Impressive win against a Bucks team that got Chris Middleton back tonight and was feisty and very, very impressive tonight. You got to give the Bucks credit for the way they played tonight. But I'm going to be honest, tonight's game kind of did nothing but reiterate to me that the Celtics are easily the favorites in the East and probably the favorites in the entire NBA because let's be totally honest, the Western Conference is an absolute gauntlet. There's not a team in the Western Conference that you feel confident about coming out of that conference. I mean, even the OKC Thunder, number one, Chet Holmgren's injury is a huge concern, and that could strongly impact this team if it lingers. But also, the West is so deep and so good, and the East still, to be totally honest, kind of looks like Celtics and then everyone else to a certain extent. Now, you got to give the Cavs a ton of credit. They are an amazing team, but I'm going to have to see it in the playoffs before I totally believe they can beat the Celtics in a 7-game series. The Bucks were impressively competitive tonight. But the thing is, a lot of things went the Bucks' way in terms of the Celtics three-point shooting and some stuff that we'll look at. And yet, the Celtics still found a way to win. I get the Celtics were at home, but that's the type of game that in a playoff series, the Bucks would have to absolutely win. Because the Celtics aren't going to play that bad in certain ways in a lot of games. And if you can't win that game, it's going to be tough. Like, plain and simple, the Celtics just look to me to be the premier championship contenders. Didn't have KP tonight. A healthy Celtics team is just an absolute nightmare. Plain and simple. Like a complete and utter nightmare. They're so good. They're so top heavy and talented. And yet they're also really deep. They have some of the better bench players in basketball. They're just a really, really good basketball team. And Archer agrees with his toy. But with that being said, before we hop into it, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 1,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I am uploading multiple videos a day, every single day. Would really appreciate it if y'all do subscribe. Without further ado, let's hop right into it. And Archie wants to be a part of this one, I guess. So, Celtics beat the Bucks 111-105. Giannis finishes with 30. Damian Lillard finishes with 31. Yes, Chris Middleton did not play great. Coming off the bench, played 23 minutes, 2 of 10 from the field. Not ideal. But when you look at the percentages, Celtics shot below 32% from three. They are not a low percentage three-point team at all. And they did not shoot great. And honestly, overall, Derek White had a really bad game. 0 of 8 from three, 1 of 10 from the field. KP doesn't play at all. And they still find a way to win against a Bucks team that had their two superstars play really, really well. And here's the other thing. The closing of that game did a lot to show the chemistry and cohesiveness of the Celtics on both ends of the court versus the struggles of the Bucks. Outscoring the Bucks by 10 in the fourth quarter. Down the stretch, the Bucks looked confused and uncomfortable in the last couple of minutes down the stretch. The Celtics did not. Their defense was flowing. It was cohesive. It was incredibly high level. And their offense was confident, decisive. They got the shots they wanted, and they did it with confidence. The Bucks seemed to be forcing, just didn't seem confident. Giannis shot only his 15th three-point attempt of the entire season down the stretch late in the game with about 2 minutes left, missed pretty badly, leads to an Al Horford three on the other end. It was not confident. It wasn't good from the Bucks down the stretch, and it was from the Celtics. And that was a big difference in the stretch of this game. And I feel like it's a big difference between these two teams. The Celtics are so cohesive. They're so confident. They play really, really high-level team basketball. The Bucks, while playing much better as of late, aren't quite there, plain and simple. And it was just something that kind of showed the difference and the different level I feel like that the Celtics are on compared to pretty much any other NBA team. I mean, when you look at the stats, they have the third highest net rating in the league at over 10 points per game, better than their opponents. They've won 9 of their last 10 games. They're 19-4, playing elite level basketball. They already beat the Cavs. Yes, they then lost to the Cavs, but still. I mean, they're playing great basketball. Now, I do think the Cavs are really, really good. And if I had to pick an Eastern Conference team to give them a fight, it's still the Cavs. But again, playoff experience matters for the Celtics. Depth really matters for the Celtics. I mean, obviously, they have 6 top 50 or so guys if you still consider Al Horford in that realm, which maybe you don't. But even if you don't, with healthy KP, they have 5. Drew Holiday's an incredible veteran, such a good player on both ends of the court. Derek White would be a legitimate all-star on most other NBA teams. Maybe every other NBA team, to be totally honest. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are both top 10 guys in the league. I mean, Jason Tatum solidly top 10, arguably top 5, especially the way he's playing this year. He's playing like a top 5 player. Jaylen Brown's top 15 player. Like, this team has top end talent. They've got unbelievable depth. And even beyond their top 6, guys like Peyton Pritchard, Sam Hauser, amazing players, especially Peyton Pritchard, might be one of the most underrated players in the sport. He's shooting 43% from 3 on over 8 attempts a game. It's ridiculous. Averaging 16.5 a game, mostly off the bench. He is an incredible player. Such a high volume, high level scorer, a guy who can kill you in so many different ways every single night. Also shooting 69% from inside the line as well, from 2-point range, which is ridiculous. He's having an amazing year. And he's also an underrated defender. That's the other thing. Like, not only is he an incredible offensive player, people look at him and go, short white dude, bad defender. No, he's not. He is a high effort, high energy defensive player who plays really, really well, knows how to play, is very confident rotating, does a lot of really good things in the defensive end of the court. And honestly, the same thing can be said for Sam Hauser, another guy who teams have tried and failed a lot to attack on the defensive end of the court when he's in the field, when he's on the court. You think lanky white dude, probably kind of slow, doesn't look like he's a freak athlete, and he's not. But he's a really good shooter. He hasn't shot amazing this year. He went through a pretty sustained slump, but he's still over 36% from three for the year. And he's another guy who's been a great bench piece for this team. I mean, even Nemias Queta, in the minutes he was playing and has played this year, looks like a really good, solid third big behind KP, behind Al Horford. This team is just ridiculous. They do literally everything well. Their level of spacing is something that no other team in the NBA can match. I mean, it's unbelievable how good the Celtics really are as an overall team. And I really think without serious injury, they still have to be 100% considered the favorites to win it all. I mean, they have the second highest offensive rating in the league. They have technically only the 10th best defensive rating in the league. Wow, they're terrible. But I mean, realistically, that number is going to rise as the season goes up. Like, they're going to get better on the defensive end of the court as the season progresses, especially with more Kristaps Porzingis, who will help bring that defensive rating down. This is an incredible team who does it at an incredibly high level on both ends of the court, shoots the most threes in the league, and does an amazing job shooting them at an efficient level. I just don't see the flaws for this Celtics roster that are going to lead to them losing in a 7-game series to any team in the Eastern Conference. And I'm not going to lie, if you're the favorites to win your conference by the margin that I still think they probably are, then it's hard to make an argument that you're not the favorites to win the title. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say it's going to be a cakewalk. It's going to be harder than it was last year. That I can guarantee. And their finals matchup will be against a good team, be it Oklahoma City, Dallas, Houston, Grizzlies, whatever team you might think it might be that comes out of the Western Conference. My guess would still be Oklahoma City or Dallas. It's going to be a tough matchup. Like, let's be totally honest. Both those teams got better. Both those teams were good last year. This is not going to be an easy title for the Celtics, but they still have to be considered the favorites, right? I don't see a world in which the Celtics, with how well they're playing this year, how incredibly deep they are, and how much their flexibility is. I mean, even without their top tier guys, they're still so good. It's hard to see a finals that doesn't have the Celtics in it happening this year. Let's be totally honest. That's the honest truth right now. And every other team in the East is still realistically playing catch up to the Boston Celtics. It's going to be a fascinating year, though, because, yes, things are tighter than they have been in the past. They're certainly tighter than they were last year, and it's going to be a fun season of NBA basketball. So I hope y'all did enjoy the video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more 2K content, NBA content very, very soon. I appreciate y'all. Peace.